Well, it's flower week. It's time to focus. And I think I'm going to start back in my own garden, especially because the Japanese quince bush is almost in peak blooming. It's in amazing condition right now. There's a few little buds here and there, but most of the branches are covered in blossoms. But it's a bit overwhelming, not gonna lie, both in terms of shape and color. There's so many teeny tiny flowers and leaves on this bush. When you step back, it's just a lot to look at. Up close, it's a little bit more manageable. So what I think I'm gonna do is break down what I see into very simplified shapes. I'm going to draw different features of the plant. I'm maybe gonna draw like step-by-step phases of the flower, like the bud all the way up to the full bloom. Just drawing it is a good way to ease into it and just get really familiar with the shapes. I'm going to be painting all sorts of different flowers this week, and I'm sure I'll be back to paint this again, probably more than once. But for now, I think drawing is a good start, and it really helps me just understand what I'm seeing in a more detailed way. I think that one of my problems with flowers, especially when it's lots of little flowers together, is after a few minutes, my eyes kind of get lost and I start making things up. I draw or paint what I think I see rather than exactly what I see. So, like zooming in with my eyeballs on one little spot and just staying in that spot is really difficult. So, I think this is going to take a lot of practice. I'm very used to painting landscapes that are like vast. You know, there's a lot to fit into one scene. So teeny tiny details like this are reduced to a single brushstroke or something. But yeah, we got to start somewhere. So I'm starting here. You'll see in this video that very often during Flower Week, I focused on drawing the structure of the flower and breaking it down into simplified forms. That really helps me later on when I actually go to paint the flower to understand how it's formed and how it sits on the branch and just fits all together. It is pouring down rain. It's been pouring all night, all day. So doing a still life today, setting up my dried flowers. I think I'm gonna take them out and put them on the table. Yes, I know. So many things to smell. Oh, he just chewed. I have teeth marks in. Oh, okay. That's plenty. This week we had an extreme roller coaster of weather. It was all over the place. On days when I can't go outside, I focus on painting something I can see in front of me. In this case, I just set up some dried flowers and spend about an hour or less just painting what I see. I think it's important during a daily painting challenge not to get overwhelmed with committing too much time to each session. So this week I really practiced that. I sometimes only gave myself 15 minutes, and you might be surprised how much you can accomplish in that short amount of time. I just made sure that if I was devoting a little bit less time to a session, I would really focus. Maybe pick something extremely specific to study. And each of those bite-sized lessons will carry forward into future sessions. Just remember that it's not about creating masterpieces every day, it's about putting in that brush mileage. It might not feel like you're growing a lot if you're doing short sessions every day, but those miles will really add up. I had a lot of comments on my last video and on my daily posts over on Instagram, people being really encouraged to know that it's okay to spend a short amount of time each session. I know that it's really hard to fit in a daily painting challenge when you have a really busy life. So yes, it's okay. And even if you're only drawing and not painting, all of that is going to help. Something probably relatable happened to me this past week. I had quite a few moments where I was extremely frustrated, and even after 5 or 10 minutes, I wanted to give up. But I persevered and I finished each session. I tried not to be too negative. I just realized that I'm going to learn from this. Someday in the future, when I paint this again, or the next time I paint anything really, this knowledge that I'm gaining in this moment, even if it's frustrating, is going to help me. I actually felt very outside my comfort zone during Flower Week. I think it's because, as I said earlier, I'm used to painting bigger landscapes. Also, apologies if you can hear Akira purring in my video. He is insisting on being on my lap during this exact moment. On Friday, my local plein air painting group met up at Brodie Castle, which is a gorgeous place. There's a huge flower garden, and right now all of the daffodils are in bloom, which was really nice. I couldn't go to the castle and just paint flowers, so of course I had to incorporate a bit of both. It was kind of nice to break up my intense study sessions with a bit of fun and camaraderie. I love meeting up with my group each month. I've got everything I need.
More than I need.
Lots of supplies, and then we have Phil. At Brodie Castle, currently in one of their big flower gardens. There's more than flowers here, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's the perfect time to visit because everything's blooming and all the daffodils are just covering the whole place. But I am mentally drained. I feel like I look like I'm so tired. My brain is just fried from trying to see all the colors and from observation for the last 2 hours. It's not even that much, but it's just like my mind struggles with flowers. It's one of those things that I really enjoy, but I am in this very intense struggle phase. But the cool thing about that is I have a lifetime to work it out, to figure things out and play with it. I love that. I love knowing that. Flowers are part of the landscape, and I love looking at scenes like this, the big flowering trees and the shadows overlaying the pathways and everything, and I'm just really looking forward to breaking it down little by little. Quite a few comments saying, oh my gosh, Sarah, your palette is a mess. And yes, it is. I like it that way because when there are lots of pre-mixed colors drying on my palette, I can wet it down and mix very muted, subtle tones or grays. No, lots of subtle earthy tones. I am so utterly exhausted though. I think I need to stop. I'm like really forcing it right now. Something I try to do in these short sessions is come up with a repeatable strategy, especially regarding layering, so that in the future, when I paint a wider landscape that includes flowers or bushes like these, I can incorporate them a little bit easier. It'll make a little bit more sense. I think that's the point of doing any of these tiny studies. For me anyway, it's knowing that down the road, when it comes to painting a larger scene, all of it will be a lot easier. Okay, as I wrap up this video, I want to remind you that next week I am out of town. I'm going to the Isle of Skye with some friends. I don't know how much painting I'll be able to do. I'll try to draw as much as I can because that's a little bit easier when you're traveling with friends. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit up in the air next week. I will be posting my video on the following Tuesday, hopefully. So there will be something, it'll just be slightly delayed. And I'll try to update and post daily over on Instagram as usual. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope your paintings are going well and you're building a good habit. My final thought is just to remember that as artists, we are lifelong students. Enjoy the journey.
That will go there.
Like your paper.
You know that it's safe. Then goes on the old faux bag.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, it can go. Yeah, and you have to just make sure the straps will let that hit the bottom. You can go in there, never to be seen again. I've got my paints in there. That's
If you
why-
lose it, I'll have video evidence of where you put it.
Yeah.
Hang on,
It's
you
in the
wait.
front pocket, so.
Just take the little thing. Well, you've got that there. Then you can put this in
Genius.
over the top again.
Okay.
They all act as like something to
Yeah.
keep it down. And you go. And then finally with a little old bag.
With all the
That
supplies.
will go on there. That can go over the top as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you're clever with it and you don't throw it about, you'll get away with that. And this just goes round. Put that down the bottom there. Round that bit. There you go. That's it. Give me that bit. Start. And then you just keep a little bit of a tension on it. That's it. You ain't going to go anywhere after that. Do another one. Need me. Or put it through the handle.
Oh yeah.
Now we're getting a bit clever now, aren't I? And then finally round your brown bag here.
Yep.
And then find somewhere to tie it up.
Okay. That is secure.
Neat little knot. Well, I'll tell you why I've done it like this. Because I did it all loose one time. I got halfway down the road, it kept falling off. And I got fell. I think it was when I left you lot at the